The movie starts off with this recovering alcoholic, Ray and his wife Joanne Monroe, who've been married for 6 years and have a 6-year-old daughter named Perry, short for Periwinkle. Yes, the shell because it's Joanne's favorite shell. They're driving back home from Thanksgiving with Joanne's parents when they start arguing about how her parents still don't like him. Did you see how she served me last? How your dad was side-eyeing me the whole dinner? It's been 6 years. They need to get a grip. Their fight escalates and now becomes about how their marriage is broken and isn't the same anymore. My music player won't play music. I think the batteries have died. They stop at a rest stop because Perry needs to go potty. Ray tells them that he'll go check to see if they have batteries to power Perry's music player thing. While paying, he also picks up 2 bottles of fun juice as well, but the cashier tells him that plastic isn't allowed, but his cash won't be enough to cover everything.
No plastic.
Okay, just the coffee and the Coke and the...
Did you get batteries?
They didn't have any.
Yeah, he chose the fun juice over batteries to make his daughter happy. I want to say he's being selfish, but at the same time, I get it because he's been stressed and annoyed by his parents-in-law and just wants to blow off some steam. You know? Nah, never mind, he is selfish. Just as they're about to leave, Perry says she's lost her compact, which is a tiny toy makeup compact, and it's now everybody's problem. Joanne goes to look for it in the ladies' room while Ray checks the back seat to see if it's not there. He spills his coffee and now has to clean it up. Perry notices a get-well-soon balloon and walks closer to it, but she hears noises and she finds a wild and possibly hungry dog that sees Perry as dinner. So Ray says this.
Perry, don't move. Perry, don't move. No, Perry, not you. Just stay there.
Quite a few times. But guess what Perry does? She moves. Man, I know they're kids and all, but my goodness, do you know how many accidents and mistakes kids wouldn't make or get into if they just listened to their parents? But anyways, Ray picks up a rock to throw it at the dog to scare it off, and his plan works. But Perry is startled, or maybe the force and power that Ray threw the rock with was too much because she ends up falling backwards into a construction pit area. Ray runs after her in an attempt to catch her. Again, I say, if Perry had listened to her dad when he first told her not to move, she wouldn't have fell into the pit. When Ray comes to, he finds Joanne crying over Perry, and he's in a state of shock, staring at Perry while Joanne starts hitting him, screaming in his face. Ray pushes Joanne to the side. Ouch, right?
Sir? Sir? Sir, are you there?
To get a better look on Perry, I guess. He then turns around and closes his eyes for what reason? Only he knows, I guess. Joanne screams at him because Perry has now come to. Then Perry lets them know that her arm is painful. They fear that her arm may be broken, so they decide to go to a hospital they passed a few miles back. The family encounters several delays in getting help because the hospital is clearly understaffed. I've always wondered why they don't just hire more doctors, nurses, techs, etc. in these types of situations, you know? Because it's clearly the most logical solution to the problem. He finally signs them in, and they're directed to the admin lady as the front desk lady calls someone to let them know that drunk teenage drivers have entered the hospital and to let Dr. Bertram know. The admin lady asks him various questions not relating to Perry getting help whatsoever, like where does Ray work? Is there any violence exhibited in the household? Any history of mental illness? But the weirdest question was this one.
Would you like Perry listed for organ donation?
No.
Can I convince you to reconsider?
Not now, please.
After that, she asks them their blood types so she can cross-match them later to find out Perry's blood type. Weird, right? So he finds out they don't take his insurance. The lady says she'll go and ask her supervisors if it's okay for him to pay cash instead. We see the cashier from the Gas and Go talking to the admin lady, but she leaves and the admin just comes back to let them know that he is able to pay in cash instead. The admin lady calls someone as well, telling them that a 6-year-old female with an unknown blood type is here, and again that Dr. Bertram should be told. Nurse Ann comes in to take them to their ward. We finally meet Dr. Bertram, who examines her. An orderly named Bruce gives Perry a stuffed white bear.
Dad here must have to keep a shotgun handy to chase off all the boys, am I right?
I don't want to hear that.
That's a child!
He's one of those. That is gross to say to a 6-year-old and her parents. I can guarantee Perry doesn't get what Bruce is talking about.
I'd like to do a CAT scan just to rule out anything internal.
She seems fine.
But on the off chance that it's bleeding around the brain.
Only one parent is allowed down to the CT scans, so he stays behind. He wakes him hours later to inquire about his daughter and wife. The receptionist tells him that there was only one scan done this morning, and it was for a 60-year-old woman at 9 a.m.
Okay, I have several Monroes here, but I'm not seeing a Perry Monroe. Okay, maybe they put it under your insurance.
He wouldn't take my insurance. He said that I could pay cash.
I've just never heard it being done that way before.
Yeah, there's no information on Perry ever being admitted. Ray trespasses to the ED to go see the ward they were previously in, but they're not there. Dr. Lucoto looks through the files to try and piece everything together, but finds nothing. Ray points out Nurse Ann as she helped them this morning.
He was treated for a head injury.
That's not true.
That is a pretty nasty contusion you have there.
You're lying. What have you done to my family?
His violent behavior forces them to sedate him and lock him inside this room. Ray fights against the sedative and finds an anti-venom kit. He uses not one, not two, but 3 anti-venom kits and gets adrenaline for days. He breaks the window and unlocks himself. The security guard is running after Ray until he's outside in the parking lot. He gets to his car, and at this moment, I was just shouting for Ray to just leave and sue the hospital later before things got any worse. Or they make him disappear. But Ray's not having it at all. He's going full Liam Neeson in Taken, storming the halls and asking to speak to the manager, move over Karens of the world, because he's doing it for love. He sees the cops and tells them everything that happened.
You should call Dr. Bertram. He sent Perry to get the CAT scan, and that was the last time I saw him.
Well, if he can sort this out, it's probably worth giving him a call, right?
While waiting for Dr. Bertram to arrive, they head to the CT scan room.
The CAT scan's downstairs. Now I saw him get in an elevator and go down.
He's obviously confused. Our lab is on 3.
And the machine does prove that the last patient scanned and was at 9 a.m. this morning. The receptionist brings in the signing list from this morning, and Ray's name is there as clear as day, but the staff says that it doesn't prove anything because he technically signed himself in. Not Perry. This whole thing is so messed up. I would have crashed out long ago if I was in his shoes. Dr. Bertram finally arrives, and his retelling of the events is very different.
He told Anne that he had been in a car accident. He insisted on going back out to the lobby to wait for his wife. Abby was her name.
Ray figures out that they got Abby's name from his insurance card and are using her accident and death as a way to make him look crazy. And I gotta say that it's definitely working, buddy. The next bit of the movie basically consists of the hospital trying to debunk any of Ray's claims that they have held his family hostage. They go to the camera room to watch the footage of when he entered, and shocker, there's no footage of Joanne and Perry in the hospital.
What are those little glitches?
It's an older system, records 30 seconds out every minute, so there's gonna be gaps.
That's pretty convenient.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
He tells the police to go check with the Gas and Go cashier because she definitely saw the family together, but obviously now it's nighttime and she's home. So they decide they'll just look at the construction pit where Perry fell. Ray is introduced to Dr. Theresa Jacobs, aka Lady Danbury, who's a psychiatrist. Ray is obviously annoyed at this because he knows he's not crazy. Lady Danbury tries to make him open up about his previous marriage to Abby and what happened before the accident that led to her death, but he doesn't want to talk about it as it has nothing to do with Perry and Joanne.
He's confused. I suggest going back to the place he claimed his daughter was hurt.
What are you thinking?
They might still be out there.
At the site, they don't find Perry and Joanne as Dr. Theresa Jacobs had anticipated, but they do find the toy compact that Perry supposedly lost, and the whole reason Ray is in this mess and why her and Joanne are missing. But then, they also find blood, but it's too much blood to be from Ray's fall. It soon turns into a crime scene.
He planted it. She planted it, Tamira. He planted it.
Did he plant the blood too?
Maybe you did.
Really?
Officer.
What? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Could the blood be Ray's, or did Ray imagine his whole family and that's just someone else's blood? Is this perhaps Joanne's plan to leave Ray because their marriage is clearly over, and she believes he might have pushed Perry on purpose? So she's secretly working with the hospital staff to get away from her alcoholic and possibly abusive husband? Is he perhaps dreaming, or did they really plant the compact and the blood? Pause and comment below your thoughts. Dr. TJ tries once more to get him to talk about what happened before Perry fell. I don't want to lie, man, he's certainly not building a very good case. The police canine is barking, and there, it's the dog that caused Perry to fall down.
It happened.
Ray is now 100% certain that everything did happen and he's not cuckoo. Thank goodness. I really was starting to doubt him there. He forces them into a small room and takes Dr. TJ's access card. Of course, as soon as he gets to the hospital, he runs into Nurse Ann and has to use flowers to hide himself. And in that moment, seeing the newborn, he remembers that Abby, his previous wife, was actually expecting, but it died when she died.
Yeah, double homicide.
Bitch.
No, I'm sorry.
Man, I gotta say that Ray's been through a lot. Lost his first wife and unborn child in a car accident, and now he's lost his current wife and daughter, and everyone around him is trying to make him look crazy. He just can't seem to catch a break. His game plan is steal a medical coat and infiltrate the hospital, take the elevator down to the basement, and he's sure he'll find them there. But there's only one problem with that plan. That specific hospital elevator needs a key to go to certain levels, but luckily the universe is on his side, and the security guard is right where Ray needs him to be. And can I just say that if Ray had just asked the officers to go down to the basement with him after the cameras didn't capture his family, this would have all been over, and he would have gotten his family back. But anyways, they struggle for control of the Pew Pew, and Ray does something stupid. This is bad now because he's probably going to be thrown in the can now and won't get to spend time with his family.
You idiot.
But anyways, he gets down to the LL floor and sees the toy that Bruce gave Perry. He hides in a room and sees the two drunk teenage drivers from earlier opened like a can of beans, and one of them missing eyeballs. He instantly remembers that Bertram complimented Perry's ocean eyes. Yep, it's her.
Don't touch her! Get back away from the table! Put that down! Put it down! You're all monsters.
Yes, I am so happy for him. He did it, guys. But Ray doesn't get his happy ending so easily. He's forcefully pulled back, and they try sedating him. But luckily, Ray gets the gun and shoots, and he's saved by an explosion. He wheels Joanne and Perry to his car, and they finally get on their way back home.
Psych!
Seeing a rainbow for you. You're not seeing things clearly. You're deeply confused. You are deeply confused.
Yep, I'm as sad and disappointed as you. Ray was in fact imagining everything since he arrived at the hospital. The hospital isn't running a secret organ harvesting ring and weren't about to carve up Joanne and Perry like Thanksgiving turkeys. But it gets worse. Ray's whole family is actually dead. Like Perry actually died in that fall at the Gas and Go, and Joanne died trying to stop Ray from losing his mind when he pushed her. Everything we saw afterwards was just Ray hallucinating. He's been murdering securities, pewing up innocent doctors, wheeling out a teenager who's in desperate need of surgery. What a great psychological film, honestly. It really just had me guessing until the very end. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, maybe check out my other videos.